Our #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Do you spend on a budget? Well, one local financial consultant says that you should, as this can be a guideline to organized and controlled spending. Jamila Mizik has this report.
With 2020 being the beginning of a new decade, proprietor of Rags to Riches consulting company, Roger Roll, says it is more important now than ever to budget, adding that it is something that everyone should consider. He says budgeting is a guideline one can use to organize and control their spending, and if one is serious about managing their funds, they ought to budget.
That is sectioning for obligations as relates to maybe house mortgage, household spending, living expenses, entertainment, the whole 9 yards. So there are basic sections for budgeting.
He's sharing these important tips on how to budget.
You can put it on paper regarding looking at what you make, your total income, no matter where it comes from. You may have multiple sources of income. That should be the first point of where you look at your budget, and knowing what you make versus what are some mandatory expenses. Usually utilities are very important. Issues regarding dependents is also important. And overall, the concept about success with finances is just not spending more than you earn. So if we stick to that rule of thumb, people pretty much should reach success as far as being able to control the amount of money they earn and where it goes.
Roll says he believes persons should not only make plans for a new year, but for the new decade, adding that everyone can assess what they're doing financially and determine that there is room for improvement.
And because of the volatility, the uncertainty within our economy, I don't think we should be looking for personal loans at this stage. We should, if we know we have passion about a particular skill that we have and can turn it into a business, whether we work for someone directly or part-time and then eventually get into our home, then maybe business loans, there are grants available. And I do believe that in this resurgence or the recovery process and the period that we're in, there are going to be a whole lot of opportunities.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, let's go to Abaco now, where residents in Central Abaco attended a town meeting at New Vision Ministries last evening, hosted by the Disaster Reconstruction Authority in conjunction with the local government townships. The meeting was a part of a series of forums aimed at hearing the concerns of residents regarding the cleanup and rebuilding efforts post-Hurricane Dorian. Megan Shepard reports.
Residents in Marsh Harbor and Spring City having their opportunity to voice their concerns to the Disaster Reconstruction Authority about developments in their communities. Residents of Spring City particularly unhappy with the development of temporary domes in that area. Structural engineer and board member Wendell Grant explaining that the domes are not meant to be long-term.
The intention of those particular facilities is to be able to get people back to Abaco and to get them into their regular lives until they can get their regular housing restored. To address the situation of the strength of the domes, the shape of the dome itself from a structural standpoint is what gives it strength. A round shape is the best form to distribute load. So in particular for wind loading, that's the best shape that we can give.
Now, while there has been a delay in the construction of the domes, Grant says that the authority has been working to expedite the completion date to the end of this month. He explains the setback.
It has taken to get the contractor mobilized, to get all the bits and pieces in place. Take, for instance, just to be able to provide water to those domes took some time. No later than today, I was on the phone with the general manager of the Water and Sewage Corporation, making arrangements to get further parts on the boat, leaving Nassau on Monday here, to be able to get water to all of those domes. We have had some issues with the logistics to be able to provide full facilities to the dome. But what we hope that you would give us is a little bit of patience, because we do have a task of trying to put in place both the shipping and the manpower to get the domes up and going.
One resident noted that the government is working to end the existence of shanty towns in Abaco and adds that she believes that the domes will create the same environment. She says she believes that the residents should have been consulted prior to construction. Managing Director Kay Smith says that a quick decision has to be made on whether or not to continue in this direction.
What we need to do is have a discussion, obviously with the residents in Spring City, to make a determination if we are moving in the right direction. Right now, there's only 11 erected, and what I'm getting from you don't want to see more than, you don't want to see 40 and 50 in there. So give me an opportunity to come back to you next week, and we're going to make it. I'm going to ask that the chairman and some of our board members who are from the Abaco area sit down with some of you, the leaders in the Spring City area, and have a discussion about this.
Another suggestion by residents is to have the domes built on the land of persons whose homes were destroyed.
There's a little tight, eh? There's a little tight. I understand. I've taken the note of that, though. The domes that, because originally there was supposed to be 250 domes, and it does make sense for us to be able to look at putting those on your property while you're rebuilding. So as I said, let us come back and let's make sure that we can make sense out of what you think is appropriate for your community.
Now, these town meetings continue tonight in Central Pines, where our Megan Shepherd is, and we will bring that report to you later on. Ramiko, what's coming up in sports?
Rugby is about to get started. The Freeport rugby field is about to be filled with a bunch of young players running up and down as the rugby club gears up to host their youth program.
Okay, sounds exciting. Stay with us. Ramiko Knowles does a check on sports when we come back.